I want to share this with fellow Christians. This is the Lincoln Library of Essential Information. This copy is 1946. Okay? So you can either pause and read it yourself, but I'm going to go ahead and read it out loud. But here's the second part. Now, what it says, the name commonly applied in the Ottoman Empire and the Republic which succeeded in the Turkish language means rustic or clown, and is applied to the Turkomanians of Central Asia. The ruling people of the Ottoman Empire called themselves Osmanli, from a chieftain, Osman or Othman, who established himself in Western Asia Minor at the beginning of the 14th century. This Osman and his followers I lost my place. And his followers were the descendants of immigrants from Central Asia who nearly 100 years earlier had sought safety among the said Seljuk Turks from the advance of the Mongol conquerors, Genghis Khan. The Seljuks granted the newcomers land in Figueria and converted them to the faith of Islam, but the Seljuk power declined and the new Ottoman state rose in its place. The first expansion of the Ottomans was westward. They mastered all the northwest coast of Asia Minor and crossed into Europe, where they seized Gallipoli and Adrianople. They closed steadily in on the Roman Empire of the East until it had shrunk in 1400 to the city of Constantinople and the small neighboring district of Thrace, Macedonia, and part of Greece. In 1389, the Turks had broken the Serbian power at the Battle of Kosovo, and then had made conquest of Bulgaria. They were now the first military power in Europe. Their disciplined Janissaries, inspired by fanatic zeal, were irresistible. Macedonia, Hungary, and Greece were rapidly conquered, and in 1453 the city of Constantinople, deserted and weakened through the commercial jealousy of Western Christians, fell before the Mohammedan onslaught. The Turks moved their capital from Adrianople to Constantinople and proceeded to consolidate their European dominion. The Tartar Khan of the Crimea became a vassal of the Sultan. Albania, which had long held out, was the last subdued, and before the close of the 15th century, the conquest of Otranto gave the Ottomans a foothold in Italy. Only Montenegro remained and unconquered. God, some of these words. Selim I led the Ottoman arms in triumph through Syria to Persia, into Egypt, and down the western border of Arabia, where he assumed the power of the caliphs at Mecca. Under his successor, Solomon the Magnificent, 1520-66, the height of the Ottoman power was reached. In his reign, Belgrade was taken in 1521. The island of Rhodes was captured in 1522. The Hungarian power was broken at the Battle of Modox, and in 1529 Vienna was besieged, a large part of Hungary being made in Turkish province. Algeria had already become become tributary to the Sultan, and Tripoli was taken in 1561. The Turks ruled the Mediterranean. But Western Christendom was now thoroughly alarmed. The Pope, Venice, and Spain formed a holy leagues, and although Cyprus had fallen in the hands of the Turks, their sea of power was broken by the defeat of Lepanto off the coast of Greece. The decline of the Ottoman Empire dates from this. The greatest of the Romans and Carthaginians. The rise of the Persian power checked the Ottoman advance in the east. The Polish monarch John Sobieski in 1683 turned back the Muslim force from Vienna, and in 1695 Peter the Great took up the Russian contest with Turkey, which was to last with varying fortune until the World War. 1774, Russia secured the Crimea and other Tartar lands on the Black Sea. She was granted free navigation of Turkish waters and also the protectorate over Moldavia and Wallachia. The 19th century was a period of steady loss of territory. In 1854, only the intervention of England and France, who feared Russia, saved the Turks from being driven out of Europe. They were again saved from Russian destructors by the Congress of Berlin in 1878. The Treaty of Paris in 1856, by which the Western powers guaranteed the integrity of Turkey, was followed by the Sultan's proclamation of civil rights to all races and creeds in the empire, and in 1876, parliamentary constitution was proclaimed. But the real Turkish policy of persecution and massacre of non-Muslim peoples was carried out. The slaughter of Christians in Lebanon in 1860 and the Armenian atrocities in 1895 to 96 aroused angry but empty protests, significantly barren in results. The Young Turks. At the opening of the 20th century, Turkey was rent by disorders and revolts in Europe and Arabia. In 1908, the Young Turks party, headed by men who had studied in Western universities, proclaimed the restoration of the constitution in 1876. In 1909, Sultan Abdul Hamid was deposed, and Muhammad V was enthroned. This widely heralded reform movement proved to be only the transfer of tyranny from one group to another. The extermination of all people other than Ottomans within the empire soon appeared as the real policy of the Young Turks. Armenian atrocities before and during the World War appear as the characteristic conduct of the Turkish government towards non-Muslims. The Balkan Wars of 1912 to 13 materially cut down Turkish territory in Europe. Italy in 1912 seized Tripoli in Africa. The World War revealed Turkey as the tool of Germany. This is at the time of World War I, when Hitler was a young soldier, right here. Turkish troops successfully repelled Allied attacks on the Dardanelles, but the army, despite German leadership, was disastrously beaten in Palestine and Mesopotamia. The Treaty of Sèvres began between the Entente Allies and Turkey was signed by the Turkish representatives in August 10, 1920. The terms of this treaty left to the Turks in Europe only Constantinople and a small neighboring territory. Smyrna was placed under Greek control, Konya given to Italy, and Sicilia assigned to France. Armenia and Kurdistan were declared independent. This treaty was never ratified by Turkey. A strong nationalist government began, led by Mustafa Kemal Pasha. The government was set up at Ankara, which is Angora now, which demanded modification of the treaty. When Constantine was recalled to the Greek throne in December 1920, the Allies were displeased and agreed to a settlement more favorable to Turkey. Greece dissented, but in August 1922 suffered a disastrous defeat at the hands of the Turks. Kemal demanded the restoration of Smyrna, Istanbul, and the territory of Thrace east of the Masrita River, which he obtained by the Treaty of Mudanya, October 11, 1922. With their prestige enhanced by victory, the nationalist leaders abolished the office of Sultan. A new constitution was adopted. Turkey became a republic with Mustafa Kemal Pasha as the first president, clothed with wide powers. Ankara was made the capital, or Angora, and the name of Constantinople was changed to Istanbul. Kemal proceeded to modernize Turkey. Polygamy was forbidden. The law of the Quran was replaced by a civil code. The wearing of the fez with its religious associations was prohibited. Education was secularized. Arabic letters were replaced by Latin alphabet. Railroad building and irrigation projects were undertaken with vigor, and state-sponsored industries were initiated. Kemal died in 1938 and was succeeded by Ismet Innu, who pursued a policy of neutrality until 1945 and then declared war on the Axis. So the history of the Turks is that they constantly attack Christians. Even though they've changed powers and they've, made this republic, the Young Turks lied and they got in and they attacked us. They started World War I. And this book is too old because it's 1946, so it doesn't have the history of World War II, just the history of World War I. But in World War II, they went ahead and they funded Hitler. They wanted the extermination of the Jews. The Turks are constantly responsible for genocide of Christians, Jews, and any non-Muslims, anyone who doesn't hold to the faith. And this is handed down generation to generation. They're never going to stop. We tried to stop them multiple times. We tried to do the right thing. They keep coming back. We've had 2 world wars now because of it, and we're going into a third. And of course, they're involved because we got the channel, the Young Turks. These people are loyal to these Muslim genociders. Yeah, we got to stop these people. Christianity, Judaism, we all have to unite against the Muslim faith. We have to bury it. And with that, I'm out.